Good morning, people. Right, as you know, Paul wrote my beer from whatever you bloody like, from Windsor, from lives in Chatham, God knows. Right, little request in Perfectdraft Keg Tips Facebook group today was about top. Well, he actually asked for the top 10 kegs. I can't pronounce his name because I'll get it wrong and look dopey. I found that a bit difficult looking at that this morning, so I thought I can work on the top 5. He also wanted the worst 5, or requested the worst 5. I can do the worst couple, right? So we're talking of 2022 releases. I've done like top 10 altogether, top 10 rocket fuels, top 5 rocket fuels, sorry. This time I'm not going to include any re-releases, i.e. France kind of royal, or it's boring, you know what wins, so you can switch off now. And I'm also not going to include the 2 Oktoberfests, i.e. Spaten and Lowenbrown. So firstly, right, the one that just missed out, as you can see here, was the Quack Rouge, which was an absolute diamond. That was one that was great, that delivered everything, you know, like the cherry shapu. For me, wasn't too sweet, had the, what was it, the 8% power. Absolutely lovely. One of them again, like drinking TK or the standard Quack or the blonde, you don't know it's hitting you until it hits you, and so on. So that unfortunately just missed out. So, right, I'll go. I haven't obviously got many of the kegs that are in it. I would have had, that should have been blonde, but when I actually ordered it, I was yeah, you know the rest. Right, anyway, so we'll go to July this year. I was going to get SJ to help me to make the kegs pop up, as I said, but I thought, oh, don't matter, it takes too long and everything, and he's busy doing a gaming thing, so, because he does all the bits for me and everything. But coming in at number 5 of my top kegs of this year was Quack Blonde. 7.4 ABV, if I'm sure, and that was just so smooth. That was just one that you could. Quack Blonde, I found you could, if you have a Perfectdraft Pro, you could drink it at 8 degrees or 1 degree, and it was just flowed down. You know, absolutely unreal. Again, one that catches up with you, but it was an absolute cracker of a keg. Obviously, in my opinion, it just delivered in every way, shape, or form. Right, after that, now this was the surprise one for me. I've got a keg here, the Hertong Jan Bock beer, that comes in at 6.5%. I've actually got 4 kegs in stock. I actually ended up buying 6. It's something I was sceptical about buying, but I came that far on having all the new releases this year. I thought, well, I can't miss that one. And Bazza from All the Beer No Idea was away on a cruise, and he wanted one. I wanted one, just in case they sold out before he got back, and I needed a Corona for some reason or another. I love Corona anyway, but we won't go into that one. It's a totally different thing. So I ended up getting a 3 to obviously get, well, it's just 10%, wasn't it? So yeah, and then obviously Barry didn't need that in the end because it didn't sell out. But I was sceptical. I'm funny on dark beer sometimes and Dunkels and everything, but that Bock just delivered. Some people say it's too sweet. I honestly don't get that at all. I think it was an absolute cracker of a keg. It was so smooth. We mixed it as well a lot of times. I know probably people got a bit bored out of them on the channel and that, but you know, you don't have to watch it. People ask me, Dan gave the original idea from what was said to him in Munich, which was also said to us along the lines with Weizenbocks. But yeah, obviously Dan was told, you know, because the box can be too strong, we'll 50-50 them. I mean, there's loads of different mixes you can try, some that work well, some that don't. I mean, if you're interested in any of that, do let us know, or go through the channel, and there's loads of them you can mix with the Bock, and it really does bring out some mad flavours in some of the other drinks. Anyway, so that's number 4 done. So as you know, number 5 was Quack Blonde, number 4 is Hertong Bock. because I don't want to go on too long because you get bored and I'll be doing this and no one will bloody watch it. Right, number 3. This is probably the most controversial one out of all of them, is the Hawkston. I mean, like it or lump it with Jezza, that's how it is. I wasn't starstruck by it like a lot of people were. You know, I'm not going into details there, but a lot of people were starstruck, which is fair enough. If it was Robbie Williams releasing a beer, I'd love it no matter what it tasted like. So, you know, it's one of them things, isn't it? I mean, a lot of people got crap, especially on YouTube, because of how they feel about Jezza, but I think that anyone reviewing a beer would put all that behind them in a way. That's my opinion. And like me, I think, I watched 6 different YouTube reviews of Hawkston, and 5 of them were really positive. One of them wasn't, but that's his prerogative, obviously. But the others kind of got knocked because the affiliation with Jezza and everything. As I say, I'm not no Top Gear, whatever the bloody programme is, Jezza fan. Although I do admire him, I've watched a lot more since this was released. But for me, that was one cracking keg. 4.8% ABV. I'd had it on the bottle beforehand because I was fortunate enough to know it was coming out. And it was an absolute cracker on the bottle. The keg edges it slightly. Remember, the keg's out of stock, but there is some packs, mixed packs, on Jezza's website. And you can get this little beauty as well as a pint glass. Only cappuccino, people. Andex cup. No Fran's kind of one, unfortunately. But yeah, for me, Hawkston absolutely delivered. As I say, we tried it on the bottle. I knew it was going to be a cracker, and it did not let me down. And that came out November, as well as the Hertong Yang Bock. So November was a good year, a good month, wasn't it? Having number 3 and 4. Right, number 2. For me, goes way back to February. Or was it March? I've got written down February, so hopefully it's February. If I've got it wrong, I do apologise. And that was Stella Unfiltered. Because that absolutely delivered for me. I wasn't the greatest Stella fan. I used to be years ago, and that my wife was probably more into Stella than me, if I'm honest. But that Unfiltered delivered, and I got knocked a bit for the review and everything, saying I was biased, and it kind of put me off because I thought, yeah, maybe I got caught up in the hype, which I'll go into about getting caught up in a hype in a minute. With the new release and getting the release out first, and you know, talking to everyone, and you know, what's it like, Paul? What's it like, and everything. And I waited and I waited and I waited. In the end, then I ordered another 2 kegs. I re-reviewed it, and yeah, it delivered. Absolutely lovely. Of course, in my opinion. But that was just one cracking keg that flows down. 5% ABV. You know, it is what it is. If you don't like unfiltered, unpasteurised and something, maybe it's not for you, you know, but I don't see how you would like it. And don't ever try the Stella bottles, Stella Unfiltered bottles, and think that's anything like a keg, because trust me, it's not even close. And when I say not even close, I mean not even close. But yeah, that was number 2. I think that was the end of February that came out. And the top keg for me this year, unfortunately, I don't have one here. As I say, I have the Hawkston, I have the Crack Rouge that just didn't make it, I have the Hertong, was Orchard Pig. That goes back to my days before when I first met Michelle, when I was younger. I always used to love Strongbow and things like that. You know, Strongbow was a good change from your Kronenberg or your Lowenbrauers you had at the time. Orchard Pig, I'd had it on the bottles and everything, and it was good, yeah, really good. It came out on the keg, and it was just another level for me. As I say, 4.5% ABV, and it's just flowed down. For me, it stole the show, you know. It gave us something different. That, I mean, I can remember badgering Conrad and actually testing different ciders for Conrad from a Kent brewery about 2 years ago. Quite local to me, so I really wanted it to work out, but obviously they couldn't provide the volume and everything, and it never went any further. And Conrad tried, and obviously special thanks to Conrad, we'll get to him in a minute, to get one out. Fortunately they did in the end. I don't know if that was Dan's or Conrad's work, that I don't know, but Orchard Pig totally delivered. As I say, that's your number 1. Right, so I do thank Conrad for all his work, and let's not forget Dan. Dan takes a lot of stick, you know. He took over Conrad's job, and let's be honest, Conrad was all our hero, wasn't he? You know, Conrad could do no wrong. Dan came in at a hard time and the prices went up. You know, Dan don't decide the prices. Remember that one, but trust me, Dan works tirelessly behind the scene with everything all the time. You know, like 24/7 and that. And Wes beer fans like myself, trust me, next year's going to be good. Good for the PD as a whole, but there will be, hopefully, almost definitely, a new Weizen beer. Right, before I end this, here we go. Now we've got to get to the worst ones. Write it down, you see, so I don't mess up. Right, when I talked about with the Stella Unfiltered getting caught up in the hype, the end of March, Bud Light came out. Got the keg pack with the glasses and everything. And it was basically like me, Josh and Bazza racing down to get it chilled and, you know, just to get it up and on YouTube and that. And I reviewed it. And then I drank the rest of the keg on a YouTube live with Michelle. And I swear to this day, that keg went down really well. It is what it is, yeah. It didn't taste nowhere near as bad as what we expected and everything. And obviously, I got panned for that review because some of the things that were said over social media. Lucky I don't care. I mean, Jesus, if you had too much of a heart and took things personally, you'd be really worried. But yeah, I got caught up. I got it wrong with that review. I had some friends around, and obviously I had the second keg, and it just weren't the same. You know, there's like, you know, you look at I just done the Hawkston 3.8 pills. Love that in front of Bud Light. You never know, do you? But yeah, that's probably the worst one of the year for me. I mean, I didn't review Green Mountain. Obviously, Michelle did that one. But that was one again that Conrad worked tirelessly for. That should have came ages ago, but unfortunately didn't. Got that in the end. That was probably a little bit too hoppy for me, but better than I thought. And the other dodgy keg has to be Camden, doesn't it? You know, as a Spurs fan, I took enough hassle doing the review for that. It was hard. I wore a Spurs shirt, didn't I? Camden, it seems to be a hit and miss. For me, I could take it or leave it. Yes, I did drink Camden before I knew the South London affiliation, as a lot of you that have known me for a few years know. And I used to put the posts up with my Camden glasses and everything. No, you know, I was gullible back then. I don't know. I didn't know, did I? It was. I wasn't aware of it until someone posted it out, and I never drank it again until it came out in the Perfectdraft. But for 2 or 3 pints for a live no, yeah, that's not that bad, you know. That's one of them things. Right, I hope you've enjoyed the content. I'm sorry I gabbled on. I was meant to do under 9 minutes on this. Done 13 minutes. Sorry, but hopefully watch it all the way through and let me know your thoughts, you know. Let me know what you think. Right, thanks for watching. Bonjour.